Today I want to present to you sort of a contrarian premise that as repository managers, we should want artificial intelligence visiting our sites and learning from our content. And I'll explain why and briefly show you what we need to optimize our stuff, how we need to optimize our stuff so that AIs can learn from it better. So for the past 20 plus years, academics have sought to bolster their ideas by publishing on digital formats. That's been through proprietary databases, Google Scholar, and open access platforms like Digital Commons. However, since the advent of AI, academics searching for information have been quickly shifting from sites that require keywords or Boolean terms to help them answer questions, to sites that provide immediate answers. Some of the most recent data suggests that approximately 36% of people are currently relying on AI systems for answers rather than search engines and databases. I think this is conservative, but by 2028, that number is expected to be more than 50%. So if you've been following the Digital Commons listserv conversations that have been going on for the last year, there's been quite a bit of discussion about how AI bots are affecting usage stats. And I agree, it's been very significant. And just in 2025, Lindenwood's Digital Commons reached 1 million downloads after being around for 4 years. Since that time, in just a year and a half, we've jumped from 1 million downloads to 3.3 million downloads. And I largely attribute that to AI bots visiting our site. It's to the point that I consider our download stats are kind of meaningless now. In the listserv discussions, many people have been asking to limit the various AIs from visiting our sites. The problem is we need to make the distinction between good bots and bad bots. The good bots, like Claude, Gemini, and ChatGPT, are going to follow the rules that we put in place, like robots.txt or a Creative Commons license. The bad bots are either going to ignore the rules or try and find ways around the barriers. I don't have time to discuss the ways to limit bad bot activity, but my focus will be on how to enable the good bots to learn from our content. I want to reiterate that whether we like it or not, researchers are quickly moving away from traditional search in favor of using artificial intelligence. So it bears in mind, how committed are we to the idea of open access? If we still believe in the idea of open access, due to shifts in the way people are searching, we need to adjust our focus away from optimizing search for individuals using our site to that of helping artificial intelligence learn from it. The good AI sites will always provide links back to the content on our repositories and properly cite the authors that created the knowledge it drew from. Scholars add their content to our sites because they want their knowledge to be shared freely. And I agree there is an argument that AI companies are making money from the content and that and as a consequence, we should limit them or charge them for access. I believe that there is a path for AI companies to pay for use of our content. Many have already, but in the meantime, I believe that they should be granted access to our repositories. Scholars are paid and how relevant society deems their knowledge. And if AI is going to be the tool that gets people to that knowledge, then we need to optimize our sites for AI discovery. The good AI sites rank academic repositories as more trustworthy and view them as more important when it learns from them. And if we hide our peer-reviewed content from the AIs, then it will base its knowledge from the places like social media and unreputable websites, and consequently, it'll give users incorrect or biased information. So in the past, search engines were like librarians who only looked at labels on books. And if you didn't use the exact word on the label, they couldn't find the book. AI uses semantic search. So semantic search is like a librarian who actually reads every book and understands the ideas inside them. So as we all know, with keyword searches, if you search for the word apple, the search engine always looks for those 5 specific letters. It might give you a fruit, it might give you a tech company or a record label, but it doesn't know which one you want, even if you add additional search terms. But with semantic search, if you look for the words around apple, with semantic search, it looks for the words around apple, it puts them in the context. So if you're searching for apple harvest, it knows you mean the fruit. If you search for apple stock price, it knows you mean the company. Because AI understands the neighborhood of your thought, you get major benefits. You can ask questions as if you were talking to it like a human. You don't have to use computer speak or specific keywords. If you search for something like physicians, the AI is smart enough to know to search for results for doctors, even if the word physician never appears on the page. And it handles ambiguity. It uses the context of your entire sentence to figure out which version of a word you mean for something like dog as with German Shepherd, or dog as with the food hot dog. So there's a couple different ways that we can help AIs learn from our content. One of them, I'm sure you all are doing it already, is making your documents accessible. So in addition to make it accessible to comply with the laws, it's helping AI learn from the documents better as well. So prior to making documents accessible, without tags, AI would read documents in a Z order. So if a document had double columns, tables, or images, it would mix the sentences, tables, and images into a Frankenstein amalgamation in its knowledge base in a way that would make it harder to associate the words and ideas. But when we add those tags for accessibility, then it also helps the AI better understand the thoughts within our documents. The second way I think we can help AI discover our content is through an optimized GEO field. So in the last 30 years, search has been relying on SEO. The purpose was providing link rankings, the metric was click-through rates, and the focus was keywords and backlinks. But in the last year, the use of SEO has transitioned to something called GEO, or Generative Engine Optimization. So search has moved from the old library model of finding the right book or the exact book to consultant model, where you're asking an expert who's read all the books. Effective GEO involves making our content identifiable to the bots as high quality, whether it can be easily citable, and whether there are clear data points or hard evidence. Contents of GEO should be structured to answer who, what, where, and why immediately. So in our archives, I've used AI to create a number of different workflow capabilities through AI. So I've created things like SEO keywords and summaries of content. For people that have problems selecting the text or the subject from the taxonomy list, I've created an AI that will pull from that and readily give a subject heading for the content that you're uploading. But with this GEO optimization, I had to go in to a custom AI. And if you decide to do this on your own, Gemini, Claude, or ChatGPT all have custom AI functions that will be capable of creating something similar. The custom AI should be able to read the content you plan on adding to DC so that it can determine things like what the problem or thesis is, what methods or contexts are being used, what data or theoretical framework is being used, and what concepts, people, and terms are being discussed. So with Lindawood's repository, we've been adding mostly three main types of content. So for us, custom AI has to determine between which type of content it's being given, and then put it in an appropriate framework for discovery. So if you haven't attempted to create a custom AI before, I would recommend opening a window for the custom AI that you want to make, then having a second window to the parent AI. And I would recommend probably using the more advanced AI that's available. So if, like with Gemini, if you have Pro version, you want to use that instead of fast. With ChatGPT, it's probably deep thinking as to their faster model, because it'll give you more specific instructions to give to the custom AI. So once you have the ability to optimize your content for discovery with GEO, you'll need to have your rep create an administrative field in DC. And at this point, I want to shout out to Courtney Bartley, my long-suffering rep that puts up with all my requests. When you add the GEO framework to your DC site, you would think that calling it something like an AI summary would help the bots focus on that information. But I would recommend against it because the AI is going to think you're trying to game the system, much like people used to do with SEO and keywords. So instead, use something that's more human-centric, like research highlights or key findings. And then your rep should set the visibility of the field to public so that the AI bots can discover it. And the OAI-PMH mapping should be set to dc.description or dc.subject. So if the switch from SEO to GEO wasn't monumental enough, this year there will likely be an even bigger change that will mean even more bot visits to our sites. If you're unaware of agentic AI, you'll be hearing quite a bit about it. Agentic AIs are autonomous digital assistants that you can create that can reason, use tools like browsing the web, booking a flight, using a spreadsheet, and it can self-correct. And it most definitely will be used to be tasked for deep research on repository sites like ours. As an example, I know an education professor at our university who's created an agent that scours the internet every morning, finds 5 recent research articles, and then this agent measures their quality, selects the highest rated one, and then posts it to her website in the appropriate place every morning. And then creates a visual noting the 3 to 5 key points for her Instagram account. So the progress that AI has been made in the last 3 years has been pretty mind-blowing. I'm old enough to remember back in the 1900s, the rapid growth of the internet from the days of Archie, Veronica, Gopher, and local BBSs. And the swiftness of AI growth today makes those days look like a snail's pace. So Demis Hassabis, the head of Google DeepMind, has said that he expects the impact of AI will be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution, and it'll happen 10 times faster. There's going to be massive disruption on how we understand work, creativity, and their identity, and most definitely how information is discovered. It can be and probably will be scary for many people. My perspective is, as repository managers, if we want our repositories to stay relevant for researchers, sorry for that, then we need to make those, our repositories freely available to AIs so that the information can be found. Thanks.